While there have been some truly fantastic video games to release this year, that also means that there have been a lot of major failures. We, of course, had Gollum, King Kong Skull Island, we had Walking Dead Destinies, but now a game that was extremely hyped up that a lot of people were very nervous about has finally released, and it is getting absolutely annihilated by gamers. I have a few different things that I want to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or via YouTube memberships. Now, obviously, sometimes we see trailers and teasers for video games that look too good to be true, and this is a game that definitely looked like it was either going to be one of the best video games to ever release, or it was going to be a major failure because they lied to us about what the final product was going to be, and unfortunately, we've now found out which is true because Steam's most hyped zombie game is finally out, and it is a dumpster fire. I have a bunch of different things to reference, but starting with this Kotaku article, it says the day before kicked off 2023 as one of the most wish-listed games on Steam. Now, after endless controversies, the self-proclaimed open-world survival horror MMO styled After the Last of Us is finally in Steam Early Access, and it's getting panned because it is not what they promised. I mean, they said it was everything under the sun. They said it was a zombie game. It was open world, it was a survival horror, it was an MMO. I mean, they put every tag that they could have on this title, but unfortunately, that's not what it is. It is just simply an extraction shooter. And don't get me wrong, I love a good extraction shooter. They've become very popular over the past few years, but that's not what they initially marketed this game as. This is not what they promised it was going to be. And unfortunately, when you get people hyped up for years and years, and then you drop a game that not only isn't what you promised, but it is buggy and broken, and there's hackers accessing it on launch day, you've got some major problems. It says developed by Fantastic and originally revealed back in 2021, the day before has been accused of just about everything, including exploitative labor, plagiarizing other games, and being non-existent vaporware. And while it is a real blown product, that does not mean that it is good because it is getting absolutely panned over on Steam. As you can see, it just launched yesterday when I'm recording this video, and it is currently sitting at an overwhelmingly negative with 9.2K ratings. People purchase this game because it's not a free-to-play game. It is a $40 title that they're claiming is in early access. So yeah, if you face a couple of issues with it, it's not fully done, but unfortunately, this game, if they were ever going to put it out, shouldn't have been out for a few more years because it is buggy, it is broken, there are already hackers in it. I mean, it is in a nightmare state. This is not an open world MMO. This is a small area extraction shooter. The devs deleted all of the old videos showing the open world elements. The city is dead and there are barely any open buildings. And this is true. People are talking about this on social media, but Fantastic had completely scrubbed their YouTube channel to hide any evidence of the fake the day before game they marketed. Now, I just want to say that if they had been more transparent throughout the development process, they wouldn't be going through this, because a lot of the times when developers announce games, sometimes they can be quite different from the final product. Maybe they had all of these plans for systems that don't end up making the final cut. Like, look at Cyberpunk, right? When it launched, they said that they were going to have all of these crazy features. They were going to have these travel systems like the metro that they didn't end up putting in the game for years. Now they finally have put it in the game, but that's still, 3.5, nearly 4 years after the game, was initially shown off. Like, we got those full trailers and of course the subsequent launch that followed. So sometimes games can be very different as the development cycle progresses, but they were not transparent and they didn't tell us, oh, hey, this is going to be different or that's going to be different. They simply marketed the game in all of these wild ways, made it look like it was going to be the best game releasing of the year, and unfortunately that's not what happened. But yeah, as you can see on the Leftist Today, this is what their YouTube channel looks like now. Only a couple of videos, only a couple of teasers and trailers, not a lot of substance. But then if you look at what it was just a few months ago, there were tons of different videos up, like Life at Fantastic, how their developers worked in a day. They did some live streams. They were showing different areas of the map. Also, they had like a Christmas video where they were showing some of the seasonal decorations that would be around the game, like really hyping this title up and saying that there was going to be so much in it. People are saying things like, this game is a scam. No open world survival elements. It's just an extraction shooter, and a bad one at that. It's like with battle royales now, extraction shooters, there are so many on the market that when you release one, you really have to be going above and beyond. You really have to be doing something unique and impressive. A game cannot launch in a half-assed state and you expect people to still buy it and play it. If this game was free to play, people would feel very different. People would probably not be as angry because you didn't do anything besides waste maybe a few hours of your time. I mean, this is a $40 game, and while $40 is obviously nowhere close to a AAA $70 price tag, it's still a significant amount of money to spend on a game when you expected something wildly different. Also, a little bit of a funny situation is that on the official Play Day Before Twitter account they put up, after 5 years of blood, sweat, and tears, we can finally say these words. The Day Before is out now, and they got community noted saying the game was falsely advertised for years as an MMO survival game, and it's an extraction shooter. It is always hilarious to see people get community noted like this. Turns out it is a real game. Kind of wish it wasn't. Not an MMO, not an open world. Lying about the genre is a bad start. It's a bad Tarkov with zombies. I also think that zombies are a little bit overdone now, but if they had done it well, I think people would have still been really into it. No vaulting, can't get over small obstacles, you have to jump over them. No directional audio, no melee, can't climb ladders. I mean, we are talking about the fact that this video game is lacking basic features like vaulting. In an FPS, you need to be able to do things like vault if you want to get away from the enemies. It's just very sad to see a game that was extremely hyped up end up being such a massive failure. Of course, leading up to release, even over the past few years since they announced it, we all thought that it was too good to be true, but I really didn't think that it was going to launch in this bad of a state. It's very unfortunate for the people who spent their money. Hopefully, if you did, you can get your money back, you can get a refund, because this game is an absolute dumpster fire and they shouldn't have even released this at all. Never mind expected people to pay for it. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.